Thanks, JJ, back here with Spread Stare talking a little more tennis. I guess we'll briefly recap the last video. It was a good one for us, Spread. As I looked through the 6 matches that we talked about, I mean, really the only one we got wrong, or per se, was where I disagreed with you on Busta versus Medvedev, and what a call. I mean, to understand his fitness levels at that level, or pre-match, and then take that into account with the line. I mean, what a good call. I mean, the match didn't even seem close.
Yeah, I mean, that was it was a lot of fun for me to definitely get right on those things, because sometimes you read too much into these situations, and you handicap it. Oh, they didn't look 100%. They rolled an ankle, this and that, and they come out and they're on fire. So it was nice for the the stuff that we saw in the previous match that really showed that he was uncomfortable there in the heat and humidity to carry over to the next match and allow us to catch the dog at plus money.
Yeah, and then, I gave out the Khachanov K over 2.5 sets. And I'll tell you what, that kind of played out just as I hoped. I mean, I believe it was Humbert that took set 1 and then gets broken at love right at the start of set 2. I mean, the complacency was definitely a factor going in with both these players. And it was nice to see it kind of ride out that way. Hit that at about plus 130. And then, of course, our girl Bencic, right, who's just been an absolute cash cow this tournament. She hit at plus 140. And I guess we can get right into it, though, for these. Now, on the men's side, Joker and Busta going for third here. So motivation should not be an issue at all, even though I'm sure this is like, not exactly what he wanted out of this event, going bronze. But here at 625, I mean, what do you think on this match? Because you've had a good read on Busta this tournament. You know my thoughts on him. He plays players like Joker. He typically just lays down. But there's got to be a motivational question here with Djokovic. This is not what he wanted for this Olympics. So do you have any motivational issues there with Joker, or do you think that's not going to be a problem?
No, I don't, because it's not like he would have to advance and stay here longer if he won, right? So, I mean, once he steps out on the court, there's no incentive for him to really not play his best. And while I felt that the PCB was a great matchup for Alexander against Daniel Medvedev, the one I think this is absolutely terrible matchup for him. It's just absolutely terrible. It's like Djokovic is just what PCB does well, Djokovic does that much better here. So unfortunately, I think this line is right. I'm not going to get involved at all. I mean, plus 5. That can come down to the coin flip on who serves first. Over 19.5, not necessarily looking to get involved in there. But it seems they priced it right, because I think Novak rolls, but I can't find value in backing him here.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense too on so many accounts. I mean, there's matches where you of course you want to be engaged betting wise in some of these matches, but no need to be engaged in all of them. And the Joker match here, I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense to be engaged in this match. So let's move over to the finals. So your boy Sasha going up against Khachanov. Khachanov, I feel like, just played his best match of the tournament, and I think my thoughts there, right? I'm targeting players off their ceiling matches. But look, Zverev's been a stud this tournament. It is hard to imagine him losing at this point. I think we discussed this on the show previously, that once he beats Joker, he is a bit of a choke artist in finals to a certain extent, but that's usually against premier competition. Khachanov's good and he's looked good, but I'm not sure I love it here. Call it the smallest of leans for me. Lay the 7.5 with Zverev, but you have some severe hedging options here, Spread. So what are you doing with this match?
Yeah, I do believe Zverev's going to win. So if you're on the 8-1 that we talked about last time, I'm only hedging for my stake back. So, I'm not even going to try and grab a profit the other way. That's how confident I am in Zverev. But of course, we will grab the stake back, and that's kind of how we like to do with the futures. And sometimes, if we've seen things that we like, we might try and get double the stake back or something to guarantee profit on both sides. This time I'm content with just covering my initial stake because I do like what Zverev is going to do here. And normally, I mean, you're right. We talk about a letdown spot coming off of, a big win over Novak Djokovic, and normally Zverev would only face him in ideas like the finals here. I do not think we will see that from him here. Maybe the no fans is helping him, and I just like the way he's playing here. Khachanov, of course, has that huge forehand, but I do like that Zverev is going to be able to keep the rallies long. He can win short rallies, he can win long rallies. He just has so many more paths to victory. Really, other than getting the yips with his serving and giving away games in his service games, I don't see how he comes up here. Doesn't come out on top here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But we'll see. I guess obviously anything could happen in the finals.
Yeah, he has had problems with the serve, right? I mean, if you see him just knocking those 67-mile-an-hour second serves in there, uh, maybe up the hedge live. I don't know, but I think he gets it done, and I do think that because of the difference of the tournament, I don't know if the pressure is necessarily going to be making him worse like it usually does.
Now we could slide over to the women's end, and I feel like this bronze medal match, you're going to have more insight than I will, and then I'll have more insight for me personally, because I like a side in the finals match. But Rybakina Svitolina, two players you definitely like, and Svitolina's played power players this tournament and not had issues now. But when she played Vondrousova, that became an issue. But Vondrousova's a little more than power. I mean, she's been maneuvering drop shots all tournament long. Especially if players have been playing way back for her. So I guess it's a little different. Rybakina is not all that. We'll occasionally do a drop, but not as much as Vondrousova has been this tournament. Interested in what your take is on how these two match up. I mean, we know what both players are going to try to do, but what do you think about this match?
Yeah, at this price here, I'd lean Svitolina. I don't necessarily love it. I see plus 112 over here on Bookmaker, plus 1.5. I wouldn't even get involved in the spread. If you like Alina, go ahead and grab the money line. And a total of 22, which is really high for the women, which kind of surprised me here. Still not enough to get me involved. I do like Alina here with the conditions, and we talked about pressure earlier. Same deal in this bronze medal matchup. I don't think there's the same pressure as she necessarily felt in the last match. I think that helps Svitolina more than Rybakina, who Rybakina is just she just soldiers on. I mean, she is the epitome of how you would want a tennis player to react from the Bjorn Borg school of no emotions. You can't tell how she's doing in a match. Even if you looked at the match afterwards when they're presenting, you're not going to be able to tell if she won or lost the bronze medal. That's how good she is at being, a serene, stoic player here. I like Svitolina here, though. It's not my favorite play of the day, though, because if you want to sit here and go ahead and make some arguments for Rybakina, I'll bet you I'll be agreeing with most of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much of a say for this match. I think that, if Rybakina can keep her unforced errors down and Svitolina is unable to be the wall that she's been most of this tournament, yeah, I mean, Rybakina will win. If Svitolina can really frustrate Rybakina with how much she's able to get back, yeah, that's going to keep things in favor of Svitolina, right? But overall, not a spot I really want to target. But moving on to the championship, Bencic and Vondrousova spread, it is hard for me not to like the over in this match. So it's 21.5, and that's a big number. And maybe you could argue go over 2.5 sets instead at plus 115. Maybe you split it down the middle, half each. These are just two players that have looked outstanding this tournament. We've already talked about Belinda a lot. Vondrousova, we said it was no accident her beating Osaka. She just looked really good. And then she follows that up with two big wins. I mean, look who she's beaten in this tournament. She starts with sure, Kiki Berkins is out of form, and Pujanescu's clearly, obviously, not at a tier level or upper tier level right now. But Osaka, Badosa, Svitolina back to back, doesn't drop a set in either match. This chick's found form at the right time. But I'd go ahead and argue the same thing with Bencic. Now, heavy legs for Bencic is a bit of a concern. That's kind of why I'm not in love with the plus money for her. She does have the extra time off here. But, 3 straight 3-setters? I do think if at minimum it shows how much fight she's had. She hasn't won the first set in every match she's been in this tournament. And I think that overall you get a good back and forth with quality tennis from both, where a tiebreak could help get this thing over, but I also think there's a chance this thing goes 3 sets. So overall, I do like the over at 21.5 minus 120.
Yeah, I'm with you on the over. You make a great point there with tired legs. Belinda's also been playing doubles and doing quite well on the doubles side. So even on her days off, she still has been getting some tennis in. A lot of times I don't necessarily hate that, but in these conditions, which I feel, these two Eastern European players aren't 100% in love with or comfortable with, I do think it does become an issue. When we talk about Vondrousova, remember, she was the heir apparent and the one that was kind of expected to be the new Nadal on clay, 3 or 4 years ago, coming up on the junior ranks, making her transition to the WTA. And it's really only the reason that she's kind of lowered in profile is because Iga's kind of showed up and stolen her thunder. But Iga's brilliance doesn't necessarily mean that Vondrousova can't play. I mean, she's got all the power, and she's not just a basher. She can mix it up too. I think she plays very well for an all-court surface. I think this is going to be a fantastic match. I think at the end, it's going to come down to Belinda's ability to get in and win those first serve points. If I see a first serve percentage of her over 65%, I'm going to be pretty happy. If she's giving Vondrousova second serves to attack, I really will be worried about Belinda's ability to pull this off because Vondrousova knows when to be aggressive, can take down these second serves easily. And if you're not getting that first serve in and keeping her behind the baseline, she's going to put you away quickly. So I do like Belinda here. I already have the number here. I'm just going to hedge for the stake because I do believe she gets it done. And if you're not already on it at the plus 120, I think you got a little bit of value on Bencic.
That's another point we forgot to mention. You had said jump in the future on Belinda, right? At 6-1 on the last show. So yeah, I mean you got severe headroom. As for me, like I said, the bet I like for all these matches would definitely be the over 21.5 games. You get a good quality tennis from both. And both have been fighters all tournament long. I mean, more Bencic than Rybakina, but both have been fighters. And both haven't exactly been drowning in their laurels either in any match. So overall, I do really like that to be a back and forth. Now, Spread, you don't have a bet here. Is there maybe a bet you want to give out for Atlanta maybe today if folks catch this video today?
Yeah, let me pull up Atlanta right now and give you the one that I liked. I like the over here with Taylor Fritz and Riley Opelka. It's not a not a very like in depth or like really really crazy handicap, right? I'm going to take the two big serving Americans to go over in Atlanta, where I don't know what they were yesterday, but I think as of Wednesday, like overs were 16-2 or something here at Atlanta, and this one probably would have gone over as I'm watching, but are they done or is this just a medical timeout? Regardless, I do like the over in Taylor Fritz and Riley Opelka.
It was that about 25.5 spread.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that overall, and it makes sense, right? There's going to be very limited break chances in this match. And of course, 2 tie breaks wins it, or 3 sets wins it. So yeah, it's hard not to like it. And this course played super fast. And you mentioned about the overs, right? It makes sense. Even the breaks that there's been consistent breaks back the other way. And granted, yeah, sure, you can't predict that's going to happen, right? If you kind of middle that, but I do think there is some leverage here. Just going 3 sets as well. I mean, look, this goes to a tiebreak, complete coin flip both ways. Overall, I do like that look, and that kind of wraps it up for us. I know it was a short show, but our goal was just to get you kind of some information relative to these matches. Maybe give you a play or two, which we did on the women's side, and then Spread gave you a play on the men's side. Men's match starts probably the next hour or so, right? Pending the ending of this match.
Yeah, it's scheduled for a half hour, but this match looks like it's going to go long. They're in an MTO right now, and like you said, all these matches have seemed to go over. So, would not be surprised if this one takes about another hour to start.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so other than that, thanks as always for watching, folks. Made this short and sweet for you. Wish you the best of luck with all your tennis bets for this Olympics. Maybe if you're betting ATP Atlanta as well. As for what's going on coming up this weekend, I'll have my live show on MLB. Tomorrow, I'll be back with Joey and Holden on live for MLB again, previewing the slate on Sunday morning or after depending your time, early afternoon. And then other than that, Jay will be live with UFC. There'll be UFC content as well. I don't think NASCAR is again this week. I think it's another week off for NASCAR.
Yeah, another week
off. I
do
believe it resumes the week after. Either way, as always, folks, gamble responsibly, stay safe, and run pure.
Let me give out the tennis schedule real quick.
Oh, sure. Yeah, shoot.
So for next week, I will try to be on Monday, and that'll be me. But I'm going to jump out to some other guys, maybe grab a guest, and we'll be starting. We'll be doing with the San Jose tournament for the women. I might try and sneak down there. Let me see how the tickets turn out on that. And then on the men's side, it'll be the City Open in Washington, which is always a fun one. Those will go late night for you, JJ. And then JJ and I will be back next Wednesday. We don't know the exact time, but it will be in the evening, most likely during the show court match. But that will give it's a chance to preview all the matches for the next day and give you time to watch the video and get the plays in. And then we'll be back Friday around the same time. And those will be the time times that we'll be looking for the next 4 or 5 weeks as we go ahead and build up to the U.S. Open. And then once the U.S. Open, we'll see it all over to the powerful NFL content that you'll get over here at Run Pure Bets.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Spread. And again, guys, thanks again for watching. As always, gamble responsibly and stay safe. We'll catch you next time.